Welcome back. You're still on Public Intel. In the South-South zone, Operation Delta Save covers Bayelsa, Delta, River State, Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross River, Edo, Imo, and Ondo states. The mandate of the operation is to protect oil and gas infrastructure and deter militancy, sea robbery, crude oil theft, and other forms of criminalities within the South-South zone of the country that could impact negatively on the economic activities in the Niger Delta. With its mandate, Operation Delta Safe has recorded appreciable successes which have significantly reduced the crime rates by denying criminal elements freedom of action within the South zone of the country. We're still in the studio with Group Captain Shehu Sadiq, retired of the Nigerian Air Force. Now, several illegal refinery sites were deactivated and large quantities of stolen crude oil and stolen petroleum were recovered in order to protect critical installation in the southern region. How well would you say this operation has fared in the southern part of the nation?
Well, we should look at the results. Okay. In any case, you know, the operation, what is called the Operation Delta Safe, is still the operation that used to be called Operation Polo Shield until I think June 2016 when it was renamed. You know, my military people, they like changing the names of operations, you know, bringing one funny name after another. So in terms of when you just mentioned the mandate of the Delta Force, which among you mentioned protection of oil and gas assets, which as we know, Nigeria, whether for good or bad, is reliant on oil for all her, you know, economic activities. So any attack on these infrastructures will certainly cripple the country. Now, by way of asking whether they have worked or not, we have to look at back as where we are and where we are now. In 2016, that's when the Operation Delta Safe started, coming from the Operation Polo Shield. There are reports that Nigerian oil production, which used to average 2.2, 2.3, 2.5 million barrels per day, has come back to as low as 900,000 barrels per day. So the economy took a great hit. That was 2016 when the operation came. So I don't know whether it is change of the name or change of tactics, but certainly when we look at that figures, as of 2018, again, this oil production rose to up to 2.5 million barrels per day. So you see the great leap. So if, you know, if we want to say that they have a mandate of protecting and ensuring that, you know, our oil is not filtered through illegal means, then certainly that is one index of success. That's one index of success. Definitely, you know, there used to be activities of pirates. There used to be activities of illegal bunkering, illegal refineries.
Talking about pirates, the growing threat arising from increasing agitations by various groups in the Niger Delta for alleged marginalization. How would you say there is? Would you say there is a frustration somewhere? How would you judge that issue?
Well, Nigeria being a complex country, almost any part of the country you go, they have one agitation or one perceived, real or perceived. I say real or perceived. In some cases it could be real, sometimes it is perceived, you know, not the same. But in all honesty, be fairly honesty, the things that have been happening from the NNDC probe, from the sacking of several of the people heading the Niger Delta, the people heading the amnesty program, I think to any reasonable person from Niger Delta, it is becoming clear that the problem, just like in any other country, I mean, in any other, not only Niger, in any other state, the problem is local. When you look at the resources being given to these states, they may say it's not much, but
now when you talk about local, like I asked, do you think there is a frustration somewhere, either by the youth or by the community leaders, or?
This is what I'm saying, because you started by saying there is a frustration of marginalization. But I am saying there is increasing realization that the problem is in, you know, they are being given their share, but some few people just manipulate and eat it. And I think that is becoming clear with the Niger Delta Commission probe, with the sacking. Almost how many people have they sacked from amnesty? And all those people are from the Niger Delta areas. So people are realizing, meanwhile, these people are living large, these few people. So I think, yes, there is frustration, but there's increasing realization that, look, we should hold our people. I am one of the people that say, sometimes when people complain about federal government is not doing that, I always ask, what is your, are you holding your state governor accountable? Are you holding your local government person accountable? It's not as if the federal government is free of blame, but I think it should start there. And I should not, I am from Sokoto State, I should not be blaming River State or the South or the Southwest for my problem. While I have a governor, I have a legislator there. The problem starts there. What is he doing? What was given to him? So honest, yes, there used to be this perception of marginalization, but what I am saying, there is more and more realization for any objective human being that the problem is not as if people, the area is being marginalized as a whole, but it's some people who are leaders, who the government entrusts with what is supposed to go to everybody in the Niger Delta, that are marginalizing them and taking the...
Okay, as a retired Air Force personnel, what are the possible challenges that may affect the Operation Delta Safe?
Well, Operation Delta Safe is being run, it's a joint operation being run by the Army, Navy, and Air Force. I will say it anywhere. These three services do not have enough equipment. Do not have enough. So that is something that we must face. We must face it squarely. There's not enough. They are trying. Almost every unit, to be honest with you, if you ask me, I would say every unit in the military today is only trying, is managing. That is true. But then, my people, the military, the honest truth is that a military man can never come out and tell you, that is maybe a beautiful side or an ugly side of our profession. I don't expect any services to come and tell you I don't have this thing. They only come out and say, we thank the government for what they have done a lot for us. But that is the military.
Why do you think they cannot come out to talk about this thing?
Well, again, it's a military culture. In the military, we say military culture. What I mean, the American military culture might be different from the Nigerian military culture. The Nigerian military culture, I think the teaching is that if you complain, we call it grumbling. It is seen as a negative thing. You just don't complain. You just manage and go in. On the other hand, it's not all militaries like that. I have seen occasions where a service chief either in Europe or in America comes to National Assembly and said, okay, you want me to do so and so operation. If you don't give me this number of troops, if you don't give me this number of aircraft, if you don't give me, you are not going to get success. We are not likely to see such in Nigeria because, like I told you, it's a military culture. The military culture, whether from the chief of service chief to the president, whether even to the local commander, which is superior commander, if work is to be done for 50,000 and he gives him 20,000, he says yes sir and salute and go. He'll go and manage. If he's resourceful, he will do it, or the work will not be done. But it is not in the nature of the Nigerian military officer to come and say, I don't have that. In fact, we have a negative way. I'm not saying it is good, now that I'm out of the military, but it is a culture. It is being viewed negatively to come out and say, I don't have that, I don't have that, I don't have that.
All right, is there a possible way to, or a possible means to put an end to the sea pirates?
Well, again, like I said, it still comes to operational capacity.
Okay, let's hold on to that. Now, talking about operational capacity.
Yes.
What is the operational capacity of the Operation Delta Safe?
I'm not there, but I study, again, you know, unlike other countries where you can know what the military and the army have and the general military have in Nigeria, we are big speculation. Again, this is again another of military, you know, the military culture I'm talking. In the US, if I want to know how many aircraft they have now, I'll go and Google it, I will find. If I want to know how many ships or how many patrol aircraft they have, I will know. But in Nigeria, it's not known. But whether we know it, you know, clearly in terms of official figures, the truth is that the Nigerian military is under-equipped for the task at hand.
Both in technology.
Technology is also part of equipment. You leverage technology, you know. But first, in technology, we are not a technologically advanced country in the first place, even though we are trying. But we are not self-sufficient technologically. When we need anything technologically, we have to move out. Maybe a day will come where we'll be in, but we are not sufficient. So the truth is that whether it is Delta Safe, which is part of the military, it's still the same soldiers, airmen, and sailors that go and do Niger Delta. They don't have enough equipment to prosecute what they are doing.
Okay, but then how, like I asked before, is there a possible means to put a permanent end to the sea pirates? That was the first question I asked before jumping into.
Yes, the sea pirates, if you want to, for any enemy or any adversary that you want to counter, your capability has to be far more than his. So we have to find a way of equipping, you know, our armed forces to make sure whatever kind of threat, whether it is sea pirates, whether it is Boko Haram, whether it is bandits, whether it is herders, that they have the capacity to confront such threats. We are far away from that, but we hope it will continue. And to get us there, in all honesty, it's not the military that will buy equipment for itself. We are in a democracy. The powers are with the political masters, from the executive to the legislature. So I want to see, in as much as people will only fight back and say, a lot of money is given to defense, there has to be a very strict oversight to see what is being done with the money. What is being done with the money. If you give all the money, you don't follow oversight, the money will not show in operational capacity. Even if the money is not stolen, if it is used for what it is not supposed to be used, because there's a difference between looting or stealing money and then misappropriation. Here, what do I mean?
You've made mention of political powers. Now, let's talk about the challenges for sustainability for Operation Delta Safe.
As long as the political, there's a political will to sustain the operation, because we know it is a lifeblood to the Nigeria. Because if, apart from actual stealing of the fuel, diversion, the other issue is that it is sending wrong signals to investors. People that come, unfortunately, again, steal our crude oil refining depends on external people. When they hear that one Italian here has been kidnapped, one American has been kidnapped, two things happen. Either the people leave, technicians that we don't have, or else their stay and operating becomes more costly because they spend more on operation, on security, they spend more on insurance. A man going to prospect oil in Nigeria, if the same one is going to Gabon, probably the insurance companies will charge him lower in Gabon than in Nigeria, because the insurance, they use these indices. How many people were kidnapped in the last 1 year? They use it to either raise or lower their insurance premiums. So that is the way it is. So as long as there is the political will to maintain the force, whether it is in Niger Delta or anywhere, they will do their work. Soldier is there to be used.
Okay, now what would you say, would you say the traditional leaders structure has created a large vacuum between the Operation Delta Safe and the citizens or the communities in any of the states in the Niger Delta?
Well, going backwards again, I will say, with all sense of modesty, I think there's an improvement in what you might term civil-military cooperation, civil-military relations. Maybe we are not there at 100%, but there's great improvement. Almost all the services, when I left the military in 2016, I don't think there was any office of chief or director of civil-military relations. Now all the services they have with generals running it. So I think it's a lessons learned. You realize, especially in an operation like Delta Safe, it's not war. You are going against citizens. You are going against people who are there. It's a different thing if you are in a war. But when you are going against a citizen, there has to be some ways of the escalation. There has to be some way of negotiation. It's only at the extreme that you use lethal force. So civil-military relations are very important. I think the lesson has been learned. Maybe, of course, you still hear one or two things, arresting people, or going to search without a warrant, all those kind of things are there. But I think there is a great improvement.
But then let me ask you, do you think the traditional leaders are helping or they're against the work of the Nigerian armed forces?
Well, in that, again, there is the good and the ugly.